Welcome to The Explainer. All right, let's get right into it. Today we're tearing into this really gripping story called Strangers in Time. Now, picture this. You're in the middle of wartime London, and the secrets people are keeping, they're just as deadly as the bombs falling from the sky.
And the whole story, the entire thing, really hangs on this one powerful question. It's like the engine driving every single character, every choice they make. It pushes them into a corner and forces them to ask, who am I really when all the rules that were supposed to protect me are just gone?
And yeah, this question isn't just floating out there in space. The story drops us right into the thick of it, into a city that is just holding its breath. Every single day, just surviving is this brutal, constant calculation.
So you're immediately in this world of blackout curtains and those peeling keep calm posters, and there's this constant dull thud of explosions in the background. But that's not just set dressing. No, this is a world where the truth feels like something illegal, like contraband. And doing the right thing, that could very well be the last thing you ever do.
Okay, so right in the middle of this city that feels like it's crumbling, we've got 3 different lives, and they are absolutely on a collision course, pulled together by pure chance, and this deep, unspoken need to find, just one safe place.
First up, there's Charlie Matters. This kid's only 14, but believe me, he's already a pro at survival. He's always hungry, he's trying to take care of his grandmother, and on top of all that, he's constantly having to dodge this local tough guy, Lonzo Rossi, who's dead set on dragging him into a life of crime.
Then you've got Molly Wakefield. She's 15. She was evacuated, but she comes back to London, and her house is empty. The official story is that her mom is just unwell and resting somewhere, and her dad, he's just vanished. Poof, gone. And she's left carrying this huge weight of questions that, you guessed it, no adult will answer.
And rounding out our trio is Ignatius Oliver. Now, this is a man who's carrying a lot of his own grief from the past. He runs this small, quiet little bookshop called The Bookkeep. And really, what he's trying to do is just hold on to this one tiny island of order and decency while the whole city around him is just falling into chaos.
And you have to understand, The Bookkeep isn't just some shop. It's really the moral center of this whole story. You can almost smell the old paper and the reheated tea. It's this incredibly fragile sanctuary from the war raging right outside its doors. And it's on this little stage that our 3 strangers are about to face their biggest tests. And this is what's so fascinating about the bookshop. It has this total split personality, right? On one hand, it's a sanctuary. It's a place of kindness, of trust. But on the other hand, it's a giant target. It's stuffed with dangerous secrets, there are people watching it from the shadows, and it ends up being a test of character for every single person who walks through that door.
So this is the point where you can just feel the walls start to close in. That fragile sense of safety they found in the bookshop, it's about to be shattered. You've got all these outside forces circling, and suddenly the secrets they're all holding on to, they become a kind of currency, a very, very dangerous one.
And this just perfectly captures the tension of the whole story. See, in this world, knowing something doesn't make you powerful. No, it makes you a liability. The truth won't set you free. It'll just paint a giant target on your back.
So the story starts building up pressure from 3 different directions, just squeezing our characters. First, you've got the threat right there on the street. That's Lonzo Rossi. Then, you've got pressure from the top, from the state itself, in the form of a Major Bryant, who wants to drag Ignatius back into his old life of espionage. And then, there's this quiet, lurking threat. Someone is always watching, turning their only safe place into a cage.
All this is happening. And meanwhile, Molly is on this relentless mission to find out what happened to her parents. She goes to a government office and gets totally stonewalled. The clerk basically tells her, stop asking questions, it's better for you. So what does she do? She forms this really fragile, wary alliance with Charlie, and together they find a lead. Her mother isn't just resting. She's been sent to a sanatorium way out in Cornwall. And this is the turning point. This is where all the rumors, all the suspicions suddenly turn into cold, hard, written down evidence. And the second that happens, the stakes go from just being dangerous to being absolutely lethal for everybody.
So Molly actually makes this incredibly risky trip all the way to Cornwall, to the sanatorium. And when she finds her mom, Eloise, the story just takes a massive turn. This isn't just a mystery about missing parents anymore. It's about to get so much darker.
Her mother tells her this absolutely horrific secret, something that's been buried deep. She was attacked in a bomb shelter, but not by the enemy,
by high-ranking British officers. And when Molly's dad started looking into it, the system he'd always trusted just erased him. The men who did it are protected by their rank, by their power. So Eloise does the only thing she can. She writes down their names. That's the evidence, and she gives it to Molly to take back to London.
Okay, now we're at the climax. And this is where every single one of those threads we've been following, the street crime, the spy plot, Molly's desperate search for justice, they all crash into each other in this one tragic, explosive ending.
So, Major Bryant finally corners Ignatius and forces him to make this impossible choice. To protect Charlie and Molly, and to serve a country he's not even sure he believes in anymore, he agrees to a plan. He's going to fake his own death to lure out this enemy spy, Axeman. He has to literally become a ghost.
And it all happens so fast. It's just a devastating chain of events. Ignatius is sneaking out the back to be extracted. 2 minutes later, Lonzo's crew smashes their way in, looking for stuff to steal. And then, just moments after that, a V-2 rocket hits, a totally random act of war. And in this just unbelievably cruel twist of fate, this random explosion becomes the perfect narrative for Ignatius's death. When the sun comes up, their sanctuary is just a smoking hole in the ground.
And that brings us full circle, right back to the heart of the story. See, it's not about being a hero for the cameras, for the applause. It's about being brave when it costs you something. It's about the quiet, hidden courage of normal people just trying to do the right thing when no one is watching and the personal cost is huge.
So, back to that first question. What does it mean to be decent when the world is anything but fair? Well, this story seems to say it's not about winning some big victory or changing the whole system. It's much smaller than that. It's about protecting people who are vulnerable. It's about showing kindness even when it's risky. It's about holding on to your humanity when the world is screaming at you that being human is a weakness.
And so, in the end, we're left with this final, haunting thought. The safe place is gone, completely destroyed. But the truth survived. And now it's up to Molly and Charlie, these two kids who've had their innocence shattered, to carry all the broken pieces and that very dangerous secret into the future.